Leno's Garage. This car is a 1968 Camaro. There are a lot of guys in Hollywood that like cars, but there are very few real car guys. And this one here belongs to a real car guy, Tim Allen. Tim, come on in, buddy.
Wow.
Good to see you.
What an introduction, Jay.
Yeah, it's true.
Good to see you.
Comedian, actor, best-selling author, and car guy.
Car guy.
Yeah, movie star.
Yes.
But most of all, car guy. This is a beautiful Camaro. You know, I've been looking at it. When it first pulled in, I went, oh, a 68 Camaro. But then I look, and there's all these subtle little changes, just the kind of things that I like. Take me through this. What do we have here?
Quick deal was there's a kid named Tom Sherwood used to race one of these on Woodward when I was a kid. Green, this color, stock 327. It's one of those things, just a great bullet. It ran circles around any other car. I loved that car. I loved racing with him. No console. It was the low-end one, wasn't the SS. So I redid that, and I always liked Smokey Unick, the Trans Am car that he made. And every time I saw one, I think one of the Elderbrock family has it now. And I'd see it race in these classic car races. I go, what? There's something about that car. Right. Not the fact that it's Trans Am and lowered. And he shaved 2 inches off the rake of the hood, took off the drip rails, which I don't have on. Oh, right. They're natural flares, which they don't have. They're not all buttoned up. A lot of my time with a ball peen hammer, Jay, you know me, ding, 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 ding. And then I decided, in those days, in Woodward days, they had COPOs. Right. Which is, what is it?
Central Office Production Order.
You could put it on your order, and if you did the right sequence, GM would put a truck motor in cars, which at that time was a 427. Yeah. And they put 427s in very few Camaros, and now they're, what, 800 grand or something.
Right. Well, what that means is GM did not want their big engine from the Corvette in the Camaro because it meant people wouldn't buy a Corvette. But if you knew the right people, or you had the right order form from the Central Office Production, you could order, like Yanko or one of these guys, you could special order a car with the big engine, and that's what these had.
So I changed the name to that. That's the name. It's a 427 COPO. That's what I called it, and we did some great little name tags. All this kind of stuff is details that I like. Rally wheels that aren't wheels at all. I mean, it's not a wheel like the old days. Disc brakes have to fit underneath.
Sure, you got to make them bigger. What are they, 17s?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like, I like it when someone does a period car. I hate it when all of a sudden they have 22-inch dubs on it. And it just doesn't look right.
Well, you know, this town, you hit a pothole, and I'm sitting at the side of the road. I got to have because I drive these things. Right. And
well, that's a beautiful looking wheel. I mean, that's a custom wheel you cannot buy that was made specifically for this vehicle.
Number one, I really wanted black wheels with hubcaps. That's how COPOs came. Right. They didn't come with rally wheels. So I have a set of black wheels that I want. Bumpers I put back on it. All the trim went back on it. Stock mirrors put back on it. No console, none of that stuff.
Well, that's what I love. Boy, it's really a beautiful, beautiful car. Nice job. Very understated.
I don't think you'd know it unless you put a real stock one next to it, how much work's into it.
But the rear flares, too. Look at the rear flares. Look at this, the way this comes out.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Detroit Speed Engineering, I believe. The new chassis, great guy. Classic Industries did the whole interior.
Let's look under the hood. Can you?
Why don't we?
Let's take a look. Boy, what a nice clean installation that is. Look at that. It almost looks like engines used to look back in the day, where there's not a lot of plumbing and plastic sheeting covering everything. I like this brushed aluminum finish here.
You picked up, what we did was I wanted to make it look like Chevy made it, so I left all the braids and everything the way it would come from the factory. Save a few changes. We covered up all the electrics with this little piece of metal here. Right. Matched. I know, Jay, it's going to sound like I'm a decorator, but I'm trying to match. Only car guys can say stuff. Is that ecru? Did you put that in there? And
ecru?
It's a color, isn't it? Beige, but car guys can actually...
It's not taupe?
Taupe, it could be taupe. What I did was too much. But I'm trying to match textures. This, any stainless, any brushed.
Very nicely. Well, you've done that very well.
Took everything off the motor that didn't belong there and left it the way it was. And it's a small block, if you will, 427, which still makes no sense to me.
When I built my my 7-liter Ford, I had the intake right here. And I never really realized what a difference a cold air package meant. Because in the summertime, the car would just stall because it's just sucking hot air from itself into the engine all the time. So I ran a cold air package like this, and you have it coming in over here, and boy, it made all the difference in the world.
Son of a...
There we go. And like you say, I love the bumpers.
We had an argument over that. A lot of the guys at the speed shop wanted Nerf bars or nothing.
No, I like that.
I do too.
I mean, the fact that your nose will hit before your bumper, that's doesn't make any sense.
Well, you don't want to be doing that stuff. You don't want to be getting in trouble like that.
Let's take a look at the interior.
I didn't like consoles, never did.
Yeah.
Although I do now because then I put all my old man stuff in there.
Yeah, you got the Flomax and the whole deal.
You
Yeah,
gotta have
yeah,
that.
Yeah, yeah. The Cialis, the Flomax, you got that tray.
I have
You keep it all in there. Yeah, yeah.
I have a little air freshener too that
I always like the brake pedal. It says disc brake on it, so you know they got disc brake.
well, that was Flomax.
Yeah.
We're sponsored by Flomax. The
There
whole
you
car
go.
was, hold on a minute, I'll be right back.
And of course, the original steering wheel, nicely done.
Thank you for that. See, little details, you notice.
No, I like all the details. The guys that designed these things went to college, and they know what they're doing. And I hate when people chop the roof and alter it so much that
So much, I agree.
it's never as good looking as the original.
And if you
know?
I worked for GM Photographic for many years, and they get compromised. You know, you designers say, this will be great, and when it gets down to the money
Right.
crunchers, which I always felt, Chevy, sometimes Corvettes were like that. It's a great car, and then sometimes they'd lose a little bit of their do-re-mi when it
Right,
got down
right,
to
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
the interior appointments. But these were great, simplistic stuff. New dash panel that looks like stock, but it isn't because it's all
Right.
digital stuff. And we did some structural stuff because this 68, 67s were notorious for body flex.
Right.
And even my GM guy said that's why they didn't race too well. It was unibody, and it
Right,
didn't. It
yeah.
just didn't work very well.
Sure,
so
sure.
Bodie did a great job.
Well, Bodie Stroud, now if you've been to this website before, you know Bodie's work. He did the Ford Starliner. Remember this one? Well, that was his. You saw his shop, and he's got his own website, and you can go on there and check out some of his work. But just beautifully, beautifully done, and I think it's time to take this thing for a ride.
It's fantastic.
Almost did an Arnold there. Fantastic.
Fantastic here. They're talking to the people and things such as that. They're talking with the Camaro, and they got the Mustang, and look out, there's a bomb in the tree, look out.
Really fantastic. This chassis very tight. You know, you think you're driving a car from the 60s. When you actually drive a 68 Camaro, you realize that they're kind of loosey-goosey, and they got plenty of power, but they don't have this handling or this braking. But this thing is like driving a snare drum. It's nice and tight. And all kinds of power. Yeah. Modern steering wheels are so thick and padded. I love this light little wheel. In any gear, you just punch it, and it goes. So what you've done, essentially, had a brand new chassis and set this body on it.
Well, we had to coordinate new materials with this previous body. This is it's always a challenge because they weren't meant for this sort of horsepower. So we had to have a chassis that connected to each piece of the chassis. So it's almost like body on frame rather than unibody.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten into one of these cars because you get to drive a lot of it, that you went, damn, that's memorable. You keep remembering that.
Oh, sure, sure. And I get a lot of ones that are awful. You know, most are awful. You know, modern hot rodding is so different than old-time hot rodding. Because old-time hot rodding, you just made the car go faster. And when we were kids, we didn't really care about the brakes or the handling. You just wanted that straight line. Whereas this is a complete package. It handles and drives nicely. You know, everybody talks about the McLaren F1 not having any driver aids. Well, this doesn't have any driver aids either. There's no, well, you have power steering.
Power steering.
You got power steering, but you're basically, there's no traction control, no ABS, no stability control. You feel exactly what the car is doing.
But current Brembo brakes. So
Current Brembo brakes.
But almost classic Brembo. They had to give me a smaller caliper to fit within the wheel. So they did a lot of work to make an almost retro disc brake.
And the car feels very light. It feels like it's about 3,100 pounds.
It's got a nice sound to it. I'm happy, man. This is the only second time I've had it lit up, and it's nice to be sitting here doing this.
You know, we all like the European cars, but they don't have this kind of torque. You know, this American bottom end torque. I'm in third gear now. You just touch it, and it pulls away like you're in second. Very compliant ride, very comfortable. Nicely done. You're not bouncing around. It's firm, but certainly not uncomfortable at all. You know, this feels like a car they would build now.
Made my day. That's the idea.
Still can't beat this look. I don't know if it's an age thing or what. Nice, clean design. There's nothing on this car that doesn't need to be here.
Except maybe us.
Yeah, baby. I know it's a Camaro, but you feel like Steve McQueen and Bullet when you drive this thing, because it's got that low rumble. Well, I could drive this thing all day. It's just a nice car to drive. Got your radio, got your heater, got your air conditioner. Just pretty basic. Everything you need and nothing more. You know, the real trick to building a car like this, a lot of people make them go fast, a lot of people make them stop. But the trick is not having the windows rattle, having the doors shut properly, having everything stay in place. That's the detail. That's what this car has, all the nice details. Haven't even gotten out of third gear yet.
It seems like it's got long legs now. I mean, I don't
does,
get,
yeah.
Because you're in, what, third still?
I'm in third, yeah. Okay, we know it's fast, we know it handles, we know it's comfortable, but will it do a burnout? Let's take it back to the shop and let's see if it does a burnout. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for bringing it by.